Thank you once again for joining us tonight. We begin with the newly hashed relationship between Nigeria and Colombia. Now, both countries have taken a significant leap forward in what they describe as the dawn of a new chapter. Vice President Kashim Shettima hailed the visit of Colombia's Vice President to Nigeria, which he says marks the beginning of deeper political and economic collaborations. My colleague Bettina Uweli has the story.
Three-day visit was the signing of MOUs spanning vital sectors including women empowerment, trade, aviation, manufacturing, agriculture, cultural exchange, amongst others.
Your Excellencies, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, today we gather to explore new opportunities, deepen our partnerships, and address common challenges. We cannot achieve that unless we compare our differences and similarities as well as our resources and potential. This is a practical way to propel trade and investment, improve agriculture, foster culture, and exchange ideas that will mutually benefit our countries. The private sectors of our two nations are therefore urged to take advantage of the abundant potential of our countries and transform them into tangible economic gains.
Vice President Marquez of Colombia described the visit as both strategic and historic, highlighting the shared heritage between Colombia and Nigeria. She pledged Colombia's commitment to using its South American influence to deepen trade and diplomatic relations with African partners.
The main purpose of this visit from Colombia is to diversify our relationships with the world into ways. We are a dependent country on the extraction of oil, coal, and gas. And for us, it is very important to change our productive system in order to be more compatible with the challenges of the global warming, global climate change. And also we need to diversify our agenda in foreign affairs in order to be closer to the global south. Unfortunately, we are too dependent on the global north. But I think this is the time to change that landscape.
Both governments, that of Nigeria and Colombia, are committed to pulling millions out of poverty, creating a wider middle class during their terms in office. And as such, this visit is a re-engagement, the continuing process of re-engagement with South America and Latin America.
Today's agreement sets a firm foundation for what could unfold into a truly transformative South-South partnership. In Abuja, for News Central, Bettina Uweli.
Commercial diplomat and Director Corporate and Regulatory Affairs at Olam Agri, Ade Adefeko, joins me now to discuss the economic implications of the MOU signed by both countries. Thank you very much for being here. Would it be correct to describe these ties between Nigeria and Colombia as historic? Mr. Adefeko, if you can hear me, good evening.
Hello. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Go ahead. Did you get my question?
Can you take it again, please?
I'm just asking, will it be correct to say the relationship and the ties between Nigeria and Colombia is historic?
Yes, it's historic in the sense that it's one of the very first few South American countries or Latin American countries that established relations with Nigeria in 1979, to be precise, January 1st. So the woman in question, who's the Colombian vice president, is the first Afro-Colombian and the second woman to hold that position. So, historic in many respects. Francia Marquez is the vice president of Colombia, and not many people expected her to be appointed to that position. As you know, the Colombians have a very large Afro population, or people of black descent. And, I'm sure a lot of people will know Colombia more for the Medellin cartel in Cali. But I think beyond that, some people know them again for football. A lot of you know that we have players who have played for a very long time in Colombian football during the World Cup and all that. Again, another thing, Colombian capital is Bogota. They are very, 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 very good in coffee. So Colombian coffee is quite popular. As you know, I'm a director of Olam Agri, and we have investments in Colombia. So this is good for us.
Okay, it is good for you, and I'm sure a lot of people in your area of specialty. Talk to us about this MOU that was signed. It was signed in 7 critical sectors. It covered 7 critical sectors. One of them is to boost trade, tourism, security, and agriculture. These are just some of them. What can you tell us about this? Let me see now. The agreement included a bilateral air service agreement. What can you tell us about that?
Well, as for those who are not very familiar with the word BASA, BASA is bilateral service agreement, along the lines of what we signed with Brazil just last week when the president visited, Brasilia. Okay, of course, the one with Brazil was on 2 fronts: cargo with Caboton and jet services or passenger service with Air Peace. But as you know, Colombia borders Brazil. Brazil is a country that is bordered by 12 countries. 10 out of those countries that border them, Colombia is one of them. And they're looking at having us be a transit, a kind of hub for South America. So, I mean, it's just very, very instructive that in the last 1 or 2 weeks, Nigeria has been playing host to very, very serious countries. We're open for business. And of course, our president is the chief marketing officer of the country. So the bilateral air service agreement means that there were 2 things. There will be export of Colombian coffee to Nigeria, and there will be imports from Nigeria of things that the Colombians find very, 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 very appealing. They're talking about spices, and they're talking about, because you see, like I said at my intro, the Colombians, about 30% of the population is of African descent. Okay, in that axis, you have Colombians of African descent.
Okay, considering Nigeria's efforts to diversify its exports beyond crude oil, how can Colombia's experience in renewable energy and coal production support Nigeria's transition to a more sustainable energy mix?
I didn't get that question properly. I think there's a bit of background noise here. Sorry.
Okay, I will repeat it. Nigeria has been making efforts to diversify its export beyond crude oil. You've talked about other areas. How can Colombia's experience in the area of renewable energy and coal production support Nigeria's transition to a more sustainable energy mix?
The sustainable energy mix is a sine qua non. If you remember back in the day, we used to have the Enugu coal mines. Nigeria too had that history of coal. For those who are, for your international audience, Enugu in Nigeria used to be called the coal city. So there's a lot that can happen. The energy mix now comes with solar, renewable energy, grid energy, and everything working in what you call a holy trinity. So it's important that for us, in the spirit of South-South cooperation, for us to collaborate, for us to cooperate, and for us to coexist. So in that vein, it will be very instructive and very important for some of our power companies, the likes of EGMI and the other ones, to have a kind of bilateral with Colombia. Colombia is a third world country like us. Colombia, like I said, is part of the South-South. Everybody's moving towards what you call the global South. No, everybody's leaving the global North and coming to the global South. We must do business with ourselves. We must have that handshake. We must make sure that we have mutual coexistence, and of course, we must ensure what you call shared prosperity.
Let's talk about the visa processing for diplomats. One of the key things in the MOU was how to make it easier for visa processes for Colombian diplomats. How will this enhance bilateral relationship and facilitate greater exchange between both nations?
What is always very important in diplomacy is what you call a spirit of what you call entente cordiale and what you call camaraderie. What do I speak to here? If Nigeria and Colombia have an agreement which speaks to the fact that visa arrival for Nigerians who want to do business there and vice versa. That's to promote trade and tourism. Let me give you an example from Africa. Cameroon is next door; they are Central Africa, but Nigeria has a special relationship with Cameroon that allows Nigerians to go into Cameroon without a visa at all, and vice versa. So those are the kind of things you have to explore. And I'm sure Ambassador Tuga, our Minister of Foreign Affairs, is looking along those lines. So for me, I think in the last 2 or 3 weeks, Nigeria is open for business. I mean, you have had a South American president, vice president come to Nigeria. You've had President Tinubu visit the largest country in South America, which is Brazil, population of 161 million people, had their independence 323 years ago. So you can see what I'm speaking to here, that Nigeria is open. There's what you call rapprochement, and I think that can only go well. Speaking to what you are, Nigerians, not many Nigerians you find in Colombia, but of course, you know, 1 in every 4 black men is a Nigerian. That speaks to something.
Talk to us about potential economic benefits Nigeria and Colombia could derive from building capacity and attracting investments in manufacturing, particularly in areas such as textile and machinery, and how much can both countries collaborate to enhance the competitiveness in these sectors?
What you must always take first is that you can only be competitive where you have competitive advantage. If you don't have competitive advantage, you can't be competitive. It's like a lady. It's like some man winking at a lady in the dark. She won't see him. You have to switch on the light or looking for, So Colombia has seen us as very strategic. We're the largest black nation in the world. And for that counts for something. We have human resources. It's not about potential here. It's about the resources that are available all across the world. Everywhere you go in the world, you find a Nigerian doing something, either in the area of technology, either in the area of renewable energy, either in the area of culture and diplomacy. So we're everywhere. We're spreading our tentacles far and wide. And I think that it is our time now for us to reclaim our spot as the foremost black nation. So what you are speaking to, ginneries, textiles, cotton, all that will come to fall for garments. There are already garment care factories in Nigeria. In Enugu State, for example, I think the governor there is doing something very big, and 2 or 3 other states that are having that. So what we must do is to make sure that we do not leave this. We should have a binational commissioner that will take care of this and move it forward. What doesn't get measured doesn't get done. And the subnationals too must come in here. Let us not try to do everything. Okay, let's try to do the bit we can and prioritize. So it's a low-hanging fruits are there. Let's plan short-term, medium-term, and long-term. This visit, I think, is a positive testament to South-South cooperation and South-South dialogue. And I think the best is yet to come. And it's instructive again that in the spirit of camaraderie, like I spoke to, the Vice President of Colombia, who happens to be Afro-Colombian, and the second woman to occupy that position, and the first black woman is very instructive. And of course, Vice President Shetima was a former economist, a former banker. He understands the spirit of trade. So opportunity must meet preparedness, and that's what I think is happening here.
Thank you very much, Mr. Adifako, for speaking with us.
Thank you very much for having me.
Coming up, Finnish court sentences Simon Ekpa to 6 years in prison over terrorism offences. Details of this and more after this short break. Thank you for staying with us. You're watching Tonight on News Central. A reminder of our top stories. Nigeria and Colombia signed Memorandum of Understanding, marking new phase in their diplomatic and economic ties. Resident doctors issue fresh 10-day ultimatum to federal government, one of nationwide strike over outstanding demands. Death toll in eastern Afghanistan earthquake crosses 800 as frantic search for survivors continues. Widows of fallen military heroes are raising concerns over alleged neglect by Nigeria's federal government and military authorities. The women who marched to the defense headquarters in Abuja are demanding the immediate payment of their entitlements. Our correspondent Joshua Imarayi has the details.
These women are wives of military officers who were killed in action. clad in black and wielding placards, they marched to the defense headquarters in Abuja in protest. They allege that the federal government has abandoned them despite their late husbands being the ultimate prize in service to the nation.
Like the one third for the widows and 2/3 for the orphans. It's our entitlement inside the military mapper or constitution since 1967, I think, which is not been paid to any widow, like the life insurance, the parking allowance, and others.
Some of the widows, visibly in tears, say years of neglect have left them homeless and struggling to feed.
And they leave us, they abandon us. They know they give us, they go say then they share food. They will not they seize food. Even the one time when they talk, say they're supposed to pay us, they know they pay us. Once your husband don't die, you don't become slave for Bala. They go pursue us like we be dog fowl. I beg government, not consider us with our children. Our children tell us they are not doing anything. Even the scholarship they say they are paying, it's not everybody seeing the scholarship. I beg help us.
They warn that the continued delay in the payment of their entitlement has pushed them into dire conditions. The women are urging the federal government to respond swiftly to their demands, warning that failure to do so may trigger further action. In Abuja for News Central, I am Joshua Imarai.
Let's now speak with one of those widows. She joins us now, Mrs. Aishat Mohammed. Thank you for being here. Your protest to some might come as a surprise, knowing that the Chief of Defense Staff, General Christopher Musa, has said that all wives of fallen heroes, husbands of fallen heroes, everyone is catered for. So where is your complaint coming from? Is it that he is not aware of your problems? I think we have a bit of an issue with the audio with Aisha. We'll see if we can sort that out and come back to that conversation. Aisha, please see if you can touch your device and unmute. I will come back to you in a bit. But in the meantime, let's tell you about the ultimatum. The Nigerian Association of Resident Doctors has issued a 10-day ultimatum to all relevant government agencies, warning that its members would embark on a nationwide strike if the demands were not met. NAD disclosed this in a communique signed by its president, Dr. Tokwe Oshudara, the General Secretary, Dr. Oluwashola Odumbakun, and Publicity and Social Secretary. They issued it after their extraordinary National Executive Council meeting, which was held virtually on Sunday. In the meeting, the INEC condemned the failure of the federal government to fulfill its promises, noting with dismay that a substantial number of resident doctors remain unpaid for their 2025 Medical Residency Training Fund, and the refusal to pay the outstanding 5 months arrears arising from 25%, 35% consolidated medical salary structure review, as well as other long-standing salary arrears. All right, let's try again with Aisha, one of the widows of fallen heroes in Nigeria. Aisha, if you can hear me now, can you confirm you can hear me? Good evening.
Good evening, ma.
All right, great. So I'm just concerned because the Chief of Defense Staff said all of you have been taken care of. Everyone who has worked for the army, the military, is well catered for, and their dependents. So is it that he is not aware of your concerns? Have you reached out prior to now?
Yes, we have reached out since last 4 months. When we found out about some of our entitlements that are not being given to us, that are inside the military constitution, like the payment of 1/3 salary as a pension to a widow, and also a 2/3 for the orphans, which is in the constitution of Nigerian military, as it was said since 1967, and yet no widow have started receiving it.
Aisha, you say
I know there's some.
Go ahead.
And some other entitlements that are still written inside the Constitution, which we found out recently, like some months or a year ago. And we write later to appropriate office for them to acknowledge us for audience, but to no vain. This entitlement includes the 1/3 salary, the 2/3 salary for orphans, the 1/3 for widows, and the 2/3 for orphans. It's written in their constitution, which we are not being paid. Since then, no widow ever receive it.
So you've taken your matter to the...
It's still included.
Okay. You've taken your matter to the authorities. What was their response after your protest today?
So, as it was discussed, it was said, according to what I've heard, that they have a sitting with our leaders from the association today, this morning, that we should give them some time. They will walk into it. They did not deny that thing we are fighting of, the entitlement is not in the Constitution. No, they did not argue. They know already we are fighting for our right, which is belong to us, which is written in their Constitution. So they said we should wait. They walk into it. That is what I had.
Okay, so they are not denying that they owe you these things, but they're saying they are working on it.
They are not denying because we are 100% sure. They are not denying.
Okay.
We are 100% sure that what we are asking for is inside the Constitution. It's like, how can I put it? A promise between the government or the military and our husbands. That is the fallen heroes.
Okay.
You have to give your life, and it's in exchange. After your demise, we will take care of your children, like the life gratuity, the life insurance, the parking allowances, the sponsorship for your children, and the 1/3 and 2/3 payment for the widow and the salary. That I think that is the agreement inside the Constitution. But inside this that I've mentioned, you see, if you can keep 100 widow or 1,000 widow, they can tell you that no one give them a parking allowance after the demise of their loved ones. Nothing like 1/3 or 2/3, never, and it's written there.
Okay.
Immediately the husband died, you'll be chased out of the barrack. Life insurance, up till now, I know many women that have been for almost 12, 13 years that they lost their husband.
All right, Aisha.
And they did not yet receive their life insurance.
Aisha, I really would love to continue to hear some of the issues that you are saying, but I want to find out, they said they are working on it. They've listened to your complaints. Did they give you a time frame? Maybe a couple of weeks or 1 month or 2 months? Did they give you a time frame for response?
Seriously, there is no specific time, no fixed time. Only what I heard from our leaders that they said we should give them from now till like 2 months. They will work on it. That is what we heard from our elders.
Aisha, quickly, this is the first time you are protesting about this?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, let's hope that this is enough to get them to act quickly. Thank you very much, Aisha, for speaking with us.
And also, ma'am.
Okay, go ahead.
And also, We are appealing to the military and the government. Please let them come to our aid and rescue. Baba Tinubu, please listen to us. We'll come to our aid and rescue. We are your women, your wives, and your children.
All right.
Our life insurance, please.
Aisha, I think you've made your point. I think you've actually made your point quite strongly. Thank you very much. And we certainly hope that the military will do the needful in this case. Thank you. Very glad you're still with us. Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Nyesom Wike, says he will not run for president in 2027. Wike spoke in Abuja on Monday during a parley with leading media houses in the country, including News Central. The minister also dismissed allegations of fraud in last weekend's local government elections in Rivers State, in which the All Progressive Congress won 20 of 23 council seats.
I have integrity, I have character. There's no way my appointer is there. We are saying he should run. Then I'll turn around to say I want to run. You said here, rivers. You said the rivers. How come? How come? How come? It means that with proper planning, assuming that people can sit down and say, look, the interest of our nation, the interest of our state, the interest of our community is paramount. Can we go this way and achieve peace? That's what you should be encouraging people, not when people do something that has come to say, surprising you, there's peace, there's all the leaders. You know, is that democracy? Until they shoot themselves, until they kill and burn houses, that's only when you say there is a democracy.
Let's also tell you that the Rivers State Independent Electoral Commission has issued certificates of return to winners of the local government election. The election was conducted on Saturday, August 30, with the APC clinching victory in 20 of 23 council areas. Biola Festus has the report.
The election is over. Rivers residents have cast their ballots. Results have been announced and winners declared. In recognition of the overall winners at the election and in accordance with electoral guidelines, certificates of return are being issued to chairmen-elect, their deputies, as well as councillors.
These certificates of return are not only trophies of triumph, they are mandates for service. To our newly elected chairmen and councillors, governing with humility, transparency, and fidelity to the law.
From now till when the governor will return, everything will be properly put in place. So there will be no problem.
This transition is a good thing, a very good thing to the system. Peace has reigned in the states, so we have to work together. We don't have any choice than to work with him.
Some of the chairmen commended those who came out to exercise their franchise and President Bola Tinubu for his intervention and the restoration of democracy at the grassroots, while others assured of quality representation.
The federal government, courtesy Mr. President, have approved a federal university in my local government. I'm playing host to that, and there is no way that that university is going to strive in that area without the Thai people benefiting from it.
One of our cardinal focus shall be to unite Ghana. In case you're not aware, the 4 chairmanship aspirants of the other parties have come public to congratulate us. As we speak, they shall accompany us to the church where we shall do Thanksgiving service. From there we shall proceed to the project site where we shall do foundation stone laying for our first project. And they are here as we speak, they are around. So as to tell you that the process of uniting Ghana has already commenced.
With democracy restored to the local arm of government in Rivers State, Attention is now focused on the 17-day countdown to the end of the 6-month emergency rule in the state. In Rivers, for News Central, Biola Festus.
Many thanks, Biola. Dr. Ibituru Pepple is a lecturer in Journalism and Media Studies Department of the Federal University, Utueke. Thank you very much for being here, Doctor.
Yeah, thank you.
The elections have finally been held, but did the process meet your expectations? The APC controls 20 of 23 council areas. Dr. Pepple, if you can hear me, I'm just asking your overall assessment of the process.
The election, yes. The elections have come and gone. And so, for what you're saying, the APC won, and what you said, the APC won 20, the 23 local governments, and the PDP won 3. That's what is on record. Yes, so I didn't get your question. What actually are you asking?
Of the entire process, are you satisfied?
Well, let me be sincere to you. There was voting. People didn't vote. Because within a year, this is the second time we've had the election in the state. Let's say the other one was held in October last year, and it was cancelled, and another one was held almost. And then people of Rivers State are not really happy. But because Rivers people are very peaceful people, there are no protests. All they want is that they don't want anything that will lead to loss of lives.
Dr. Pepple,
and keep themselves.
I'm quite sorry to interject, but we're unable to continue with the interview. The quality of your audio is pretty poor, and it's a bit of a strain to hear you. We apologize. Thank you very much for being here. A Finnish court has sentenced pro-Biafra agitator Simon Ekpa to 6 years in prison for terrorism and aggravated tax fraud. The court found Ekpa guilty of inciting terrorism and supporting a terrorist group through his social media activities between August 2021 and November 2024. The court ruled that Ekpa, a Lati resident and former councillor, used his online influence to encourage violence in Nigeria's southeast and supplied weapons to separatist groups. He was also convicted of tax-related crimes. Ekpa denied all charges, but the 3-judge panel delivered a unanimous verdict. The ruling, however, is not yet final and may be appealed. Outside of our shores, let's bring you an update from the powerful 6.0 magnitude earthquake that struck eastern Afghanistan. So far, it has killed at least 800 people and injured more than 2,500. Authorities warned the toll could climb further as rescue efforts continue. The quake, centered near Jalalabad in Nangarhar province, flattened entire villages in neighboring Kuna. Survivors say homes collapsed within seconds, trapping families under rubble as rescuers dug with their bare hands. Poorly built mud brick houses added to the devastation, while aftershocks hampered relief efforts in the remote mountainous region. Medical teams have been sent from Kuna, Nangarhar, and Kabul. Iran's currency has plunged to new lows amid renewed tensions over its nuclear program. The US dollar surpassed 1.06 million rubles on Tehran's open market today, marking a significant depreciation since talks began in April between Iran and the United States. European powers France, Germany, and the United Kingdom have activated the snapback mechanism threatening to reimpose United Nations sanctions that were previously lifted under the 2015 nuclear agreement. Iran's government insists this currency drop is not due to economic failure, but stems from political uncertainty and growing concerns over stalled diplomacy and the risk of conflict involving Israel and the U.S. Let's go on a quick break. On the other side, we have business, sports, and entertainment news. Please stay with us.
In business, the federal government, through the Debt Management Office, has opened subscriptions for the September 2025 federal government savings bonds, offering annual yields of up to 16.541%. The subscription window runs until September 5, with settlement on September 10. Investors can opt for a 2-year bond maturing in 2027 at 15.541% or a 3-year bond maturing in 2028 at 16.541%. Both rates reflect increases from August levels. Coupon payments will be made quarterly, and the bond priced at 1,000 naira per unit was with a minimum subscription of about 5,000 naira, and it is listed on the Nigerian exchange and fully backed by the federal government of Nigeria. Away from that, Nigeria signed a production sharing contract with Total Energies and South Atlantic Petroleum to boost exploration and investment in its oil sector. The agreement covers petroleum prospecting licenses 2000 and 2001 in the Niger Delta Basin, spanning about 2,000 square kilometers. Total Energies holds an 80% interest, while Sepetro has 20%. The Nigerian Upstream Petroleum Regulatory Commission said the deal would unlock deep water potential, expand reserves, and strengthen energy security. Provisions include signature and production bonuses, profit sharing, minimum work guarantees, host community development obligations, and environment safeguards. The move comes as Nigeria seeks to revitalize upstream operations amid the global energy transition. We now look at stock markets. Now, the Nigerian exchange ended the session negative as the all-share index slipped 0.41% to close at 139,722.99 points, while the market capitalization fell to 88.40 trillion naira with a drop differential of 0.41%, reflecting sustained bearish sentiment. Straight to sectoral performance across the sectors, the banking index led the decline with a 1.12% drop as profit taking persisted in tier 1 lenders. Now, the insurance index also dropped 0.05%, extending mild weakness from previous sessions, same as the oil and gas sector that closed softer 0.45%, driven by waning investor appetite. Consumer goods also saw an almost flat of 0.03%, while industrial goods shared at 0.85% as heavyweights faced renewed sell pressure. Now, market activity showed a cautious mood, but then with investors tilting away from risked assets and consolidating positions amid weak momentum. And that's it on business. I am Lekon Onobanjo. Do stay tuned for sport news.
And in sport, Super Eagles captain William Troost-Ekong, Bruno Yemechi, and goalkeeper Amas Obasoje were the first players to arrive in Uyo as Nigeria opened camp on Monday for the 2026 FIFA World Cup qualifiers against Rwanda and South Africa. The trio checked into the team's hotel in base in the morning, with more players expected later in the day. Now, head coach Harry Chell invited 23 players for 2 fixtures, with the squad set to hold its first official training session on Tuesday at the practice pitch of the Godswill Akpabio International Stadium. Nigeria will face Rwanda before hosting South Africa as they look to secure maximum points in their qualifying campaign. And now to some transfer news. Wolverhampton Wanderers have signed Nigerian striker Tolu Arokodare from Genk in the £24 million move. Now, the 24-year-old, who won the Belgian Golden Boot last season with 21 goals, agreed a 4-year deal at Molineux. Now, Wolves sit bottom of the Premier League after 3 straight defeats and see Arokodare as key to strengthening the attack. Now, standing at 6 feet 6 inches, he will partner Hogan Strand Larsen, who was the subject of 2 failed bids from Newcastle. Arokodare scored 41 goals in 113 matches for Genk after joining from Latvian side Valmeria in 2023. He previously had spells with FC Cologne and Amiens and has 1 goal in 4 senior games for Nigeria. And now to handball. Nigeria's under-18 women's handball team have commenced camping in Lagos ahead of the 2025 Africa Women's Youth Handball Championship billed for Oran, Algeria from September 14th to 21st. The tournament doubles as qualifiers for the 2026 Women's Youth World Championships and IHF Intercontinental Phase. 19 players have been called up to Roe Park Sports Center, Yaba, under the guidance of Coach John and assistant coach Bukola Duru. Several of the invitees were part of the side that clinched the Africa Zone 3 IHF trophy earlier this year. Nigeria, drawn in Group A, will face Angola, Tunisia, Kenya, Benin Republic, and Madagascar. And now to cricket. Nigeria's female Yellow Greens suffered an 8-wicket defeat to Namibia in their second ICC Women's T20 World Cup Africa qualifier match on Monday. Electing to bat first, Nigeria struggled against Namibia's bowling attack led by Saima Tuadeleni, who claimed 3 key wickets. Mekelaye, Watile and Kailen Green also struck, restricting Nigeria to 70 runs, with Salome Sunday's 22 of the top score. In response, Namibia chased down the target in 9.6 overs, finishing at 71 for 2. Yasmin Khan led the charge with a commanding 51 off 30 balls after Nigeria dismissed captain Suni Whitman for a golden duck. Nigeria now face Zimbabwe, who topped Group A with 4 points, while Nigeria are currently second on 2 points. And that wraps it up on Sports Update. And Favor Itua tonight continues with entertainment with Sam Dandy.
Sam Dandy's here with the latest in entertainment. Over to you, Sam.
Well, I wish we're starting on an exciting note, but this one's pretty sad. Oh. Sister of Big Brother Naija star Fina, Ruth Otabo, has tragically passed away after an accident involving a Dangote Group truck in Auchi, Edo State. Now, the group responded with a heartfelt message on Sunday saying they're deeply saddened by the loss. They confirmed that from the start, Dangote and their insurance partners covered all her treatment costs and had made plans to fly her to India for advanced care if doctors cleared her condition. Sadly, Ruth didn't pull through. Representatives from Dangote also collected her remains from the hospital, and sources say the family expects the company to handle burial expenses just as they covered medical bills. Now, the statement emphasized that safety, accountability, and compassion are core to their operations, and they pledged to strengthen safety protocols going forward. This one's pretty sad. A lot of people have reacted to it online. We see tweets about it. But I think most people are just hoping that such a thing never happen again, and that her soul rests in perfect peace.
Amen.
Amen. To something more exciting, popular American girl group Fifth Harmony is back. Well, minus one member, Camilla Cabello. The remaining quartet, Normani, Ali Brooks, Dina, Jane, and Lauren, reunited live on stage for the first time since 2018 at a surprise performance during the Jonas Brothers' Greetings from Your Hometown tour in Dallas on August the 31st. Now, they slayed their hits, Worth It, of course, fan favorite, Work From Home, in matching black fits, and the crowd lost it if you watch the videos. Now, since the concert, Fifth Harmony has updated its Instagram bio to say, where were you on August the 31st? Fifth Harmony's post about the brief reunion comes 7 years after their last Instagram post when they said goodbye to fans. Back in 2018, the girls announced they were going their separate ways to pursue a solo careers. Cabello, of course, had already exited the group in December 2016. You know, I want to ask Felicity, because every time I listen or I like bands or groups, I'm like, why do they have to separate? Even P-Square had to go their separate ways. Why?
It's called growth and individual differences. We all aspire to have different things. At the beginning, maybe they all had the same dream.
Right.
But success has a way of changing people to a certain degree. That's my thought. I could be wrong.
Well, I do agree with you. Of course, they have gone on to have successful careers, some more than others. But the fans, it leaves a part of our hearts that we're
But
missing.
at least they've given us this flashback. We should enjoy it while it lasts.
Well, if you're fans of Fifth Harmony, hopefully you enjoy that. Those are the biggest stories in entertainment. I am Sam Dandy.
And that is all the news we have for you tonight. But before we go, here's a quick reminder of our top stories. Nigeria and Colombia have signed a memorandum of understanding, marking a new phase in their diplomatic and economic ties. Resident doctors in Nigeria have issued fresh 10-day ultimatum to federal government, warning of nationwide strike over outstanding demands. We also told you that the death toll in eastern Afghanistan earthquake has crossed 800 as frantic search for survivors continue. I'd love your feedback and your thoughts on the news. Please share them using the number showing now on your screen. You can follow us on all social media platforms. We are at News Central TV. You can watch us live on DSTV channel 422, GoTV channel 23, Star Times channel 27, Avo TV, and on YouTube. Thank you, as always, for your kind company. Have a good night.